Hello friends, this is our third lecture which is based on types of remote sensing, that is active remote sensing and passive remote sensing. So the types of remote sensing are based on the energy created by the sensors. That is, there are platforms on which the sensors are placed and they create a energy that may be the self created, or it may take the help of the sun to create the energy. So the types are based on that energy. There are two major types, that is active remote sensing and passive remote sensing. In active remote sensing, it is further divided into thermal scanning and microwave scanning. Similarly, the passive remote sensing is divided into two types. The first one is optical scanning, which includes panchromatic scanning, multispectral scanning, superspectral scanning, and hyperspectral scanning. And the third classification is microwave scanning. So, at first, we'll start with active remote sensing. These are the sensors that create their own electromagnetic energy. That is, the energy is transmitted from the sensor towards the terrain. Now it creates its own energy. Let me explain you first that, as for example, in your day to day life you use a camera of a mobile. So when you have a natural light, then easily you can capture the image. But when you have some dark tones or you can't click the image properly at night time, so the mobile is mounted with self torch camera, or you can say camera flashlight. So it is the energy or the light which is induced in that particular system. So similarly, in satellites also, the sensors have its own electromagnetic radiation which is emitted on that object, and then the energy is been captured. So the in if you go through a summary of the process, the first step is that the energy is transmitted from the sensor towards the terrain, that is towards the surface of the earth. The energy is transmitted, then it interacts with the terrain, producing a backscatter of energy. So as the energy goes to the object, to the phenomenon or the terrain, first step, when the energy is backscattered again, that is, some energy is absorbed, some is reflected, some is refracted, so which is backscattered again in the second step. And the third, this energy is recorded by remote sensing receiver. So the energy which is backscattered is been captured by the sensors, and then the image is been captured properly by the sensors. So the most widely used active remote sensing techniques are radar, lidar, or sonar. So the active remote sensing is divided into thermal remote sensing and microwave remote sensing. So thermal remote sensing is that thermal sensors used photodetectors sensitive to direct contact of photons on their surface to detect emitted thermal radiations. So each energy is made up of photons, that is, energy particles is known as photon. These photons are reached up to the sensors. So how many photons reach back to the sensors are being captured, and then the image is being processed. The detectors are cooled to the temperature close to absolute zero. For analysis, if an image of relative radiant temperature is depicted in gray color, that is panchromatic images you can see, or black and white images, if you observe, then the objects that are warmer shows light color. That means the energy which have more photons are seen in light color, and the objects with cooler, that is very less photons, shows the dark tone. Gases, suspended particles in the atmosphere absorb radiant emitted from ground objects, resulting in decrease in energy reaching to the thermal sensors. Ground signals can also be attenuated by scattering in presence of suspended particles. While on the other hand, gases and suspended particles in atmosphere may emit radiation of their own, adding radiation that are being sensed. Hence, atmospheric absorption and scattering tend to make the signals from the ground objects appear colder than they are, and atmospheric emission tends to make ground objects appear warmer. This is the process or example by which thermal remote sensing is been studied very easily. Then thermal imaging is done by various space system, that is Landsat TM or ASTER. ASTER is also named as Advanced Spaceborne Thermal Emission and Reflection Radiometer, or TIMS, that is Thermal Infrared Multispectral Scanner. So for example, this is a soil which has been observed by thermal scanning. You can see that, for example, has shown that this red color means the soil is warmer according to the scale, and as you go to dark blue color, the area is very much cooler. So if the dark tone is seen or red color is seen, that means the photon emitted are of high number. So this is the dark tone. Here is more heat radiated, while as you go far away, the blue color or dark blue color shows very less photon emitted. That means the energy radiated is very less. Next is the microwave remote sensing. The active microwave remote sensing is same as they use microwave radiations to capture the images. These sensors are divided into two categories. It is based on the use of that particular sensor. First one is imaging, that is most widely used to characterize the function and operation of a sensor. So what is the function and operation of a sensor? That is called as imaging sensors in microwave remote sensing. For example, radar, that is radio detecting and ranging, the full form of radar. And second is non-imaging, which includes the altimeter. Altimeters are used to determine the altitude or height of any object from the mean sea level. And second is the scatterometer, which is used to characterize different materials and surfaces and its type based on the scattering of the radiation. That if there is a smooth surface or plane surface, then energy scattered can be in all direction, but if there is a terrain or mountain, then energy scattered, then again it gets bounced on this another surface, and again it is scattered, so it don't reaches back again to the sensor in scatterometer. So for example, this image is of radar. So here you can see that if the radar is placed on a place, then it can capture or it can study the area defined in the surrounding, and which have a particular function or any operation can be done in this particular terrain. Here also you can see that if the at the center, if the radar is been placed, then the area surrounding can also be captured. This is the scatterometer, that from the sensor, if the study area is this, then the range or the radiations are being scattered 500 kilometers away from your main point. So this is the path where the scattered energy can also be observed. And last, this is the altimeter. Altimeter is used to measure the distance, or you can call it as altitude, from satellite till the mean sea level, or you can call it as ellipsoid. So altimeters are used to capture the short microwave pulses and measure the time to determine their distances from the sensor. Next is passive remote sensing. Passive remote sensing is used by capturing of the reflected energy which comes from the sun. That is natural energy which, or natural radiations that are emitted from the sun are reflected or refracted on an object, and then it is captured by the sensor. The passive remote sensing is classified in two types, that is optical remote sensing and microwave remote sensing. And further, optical remote sensing is classified in panchromatic, multispectral, superspectral and hyperspectral. Optical remote sensing is makes use of visible, near infrared and mid infrared sensors to form images of Earth's surface by detecting the solar radiations reflected from targets on the ground. Different material reflect and absorb differently at different wavelengths. Thus, the targets can be differentiated by their spectral reflectance signature. That means the signatures of each and every object or phenomenon is different on the earth. Vegetation shows different spectral signature, soil shows different spectral signature, or water shows different spectral signatures. According to the spectral signatures, each object or phenomenon on the earth have different bands, and accordingly the images are being captured. So depending on the number of spectral bands, the optical remote sensing is divided in four types. First is panchromatic remote sensing. The sensor is single channel detector sensitive to radiation within a broad wavelength range. So the image, as the wavelengths are very broad, the image obtained is black and white photograph. So if there is warmer area, then you can see the color is very light, and if there is cooler area, as the image shows a dark tone. So in the particular image you can see that where there is water, the water is been cooler, so you can see there is a dark tone or black color, very dark black color. And in residential area, as there are soil, they absorb more radiations of sun and reflects back more thermal energy, so they can be there, it can be seen very light tone which goes to white, and simultaneously the black and white photographs is been made. The examples of panchromatic sensors are ICNOS pan, spot HRV pan. Pan refers to panchromatic. These are different images or comparative images, that the natural or true color image is like this. So you can see the vegetation is green, the roads you can identify, the vehicles, the residential area. This is the true color image in which visible radiations are used. Accordingly, this is the false color image, but panchromatic image can be seen in black and white tone. Second is multispectral remote sensing. The word itself tells us that multispectral means number of spectral bands are used. So the sensors in multi-channel detector with a few spectral bands are termed as multispectral remote sensing. Each channel is sensitive to radiation within a narrow wavelength. So comparatively in panchromatic we have studied that there is a broad wavelength of bands or broad wavelength of waves or ranges, but in multispectral there is a narrow wavelength range, and so you can get more different colors or different shades of color in multispectral remote sensing. The image is multi-layered, and then it contains both brightness also and spectral information of an particular image. So in a apple, it is a simple image of apple. So when you take a RGB camera, that means in visible rays you can see the apple is of red color, the leaves are green and the stem is brown. But when you take an image in multispectral camera, so you change the band and the RGB is changed into different wavelength ranges, and so where there is a plane surface you see a green color, as there is a dark tone it goes to blue color, and thus this is the spectral signature of apple in multispectral remote sensing. The sensors or the in multispectral images, the sensors which are used till now is Landsat MSS, that is multispectral sensing, or ICNOS MS. Third is superspectral remote sensing, which is more developed technique then multispectral. In superspectral you can see number of channels that the number varies more than the multispectral sensors. The band are more narrower than the multispectral, and it enables the finer spectral characteristics of a target. So in multispectral, as in apple, you can see that we can see only 2 to 3 color, but now when you compare the multispectral and superspectral, in this image you can see there are more number of bands, right from the black and white to different shades of color, and finally you get a proper image where you can identify what is the object or what is the phenomenon on the earth. The sensors which are using superspectral remote sensing are MODIS or MERIS. Fourth one is hyperspectral remote sensing. This type of remote sensing is used in large fields because it have hundreds of spectral bands which you can't get in multispectral or superspectral. It have a potential applications in agricultural field, in coastal management, in forest, in urban development, land cover, land use. In these all fields it have a potential because it have number of band, hundreds of bands which can be changed to detect any phenomenon on the earth. Hyperion is a perfect example of hyperspectral remote sensing. This is an image which shows the hyperspectral remote sensing example. So this is a fish. You can see a fish in a natural color image, like using a visible radiations, that is RGB, and a human eye can see the fish in this color. But when you use a hyperspectral camera, the proper fish color or visible radiations shows different color bands, right from red to orange, yellow, green, blue, and the different shades of these all major colors. And when you place this shape of fish into bands in ArcGIS, ERDAS or QGIS softwares, that time you get a spectral signature of a fish. This is a spectral signature, a graph which is wavelength versus reflectance of any object. So this is a spectral signature. As we we studied this flow from human eye to hyperspectral camera to the spectral signature. You can do equally, like if you have a spectral signature like this, so you can make a band in the software, and accordingly these band or these color can be placed in an shape, as this is a shape of a fish, so you can place this color in a shape fish, and then you get a final output of fish which have such type of look or observation. This is the hyperspectral remote sensing. The second type of passive remote sensing is microwave passive remote sensing. As like in active remote sensing, you can see that the radiations used are microwave, but the satellite or the sensors emit its own radiation to capture the image. Likewise, in passive remote sensing, microwave radiations are only used, but the image is captured through a light which is naturally generated through the sun, and then the passive microwave images detects the naturally emitted microwave energy, and then a field of view or the observed area or the study area can be captured. Thank you.